thank you for joining me here on Stacy Lee Beauty. My name is Stacy and I put out new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. This month has been a little tricky because I am in the process of moving still, which it's been taking way too long, but I've missed a couple of days is what I'm trying to say. Today I wanted to talk about primers versus eye primers versus concealer to use for under your shadows. So let me know down below if you have a preference as of right now before watching this video and seeing the difference on what you normally use, primer or concealer. I just kind of mix it up, and sometimes I don't use either, sometimes I use both, but just to kind of give you an idea, I will show you some swatches, but what I have found, it seems like concealer is a little bit more thicker in general, at least the ones that I have. And the eyeshadow primer is there to give your eyeshadow staying power, to not have it crease, and concealers obviously don't have that same necessarily made for that. Seem like the primers that I have tried at least have a little bit more slip to them and are a little bit more silky. Most of the time the eyeshadow primers are a little bit thicker than a face primer. Emily Noel goes on and on about how great this is, so I feel like it's gained a lot of traction. This is the Maybelline Age Rewind Instant Age Rewind, and the color I have is light pale. Definitely you can see you get more coverage with a concealer, which makes sense because it's made to do that. For the eyeshadow, I'm going to be using the Too Faced Chocolate Gold. This is part of my pan project, which I'm going to film an update on that soon. But just for the base color, I'm going to use the Rolling in the Dough. And I am testing out, this is Dew Color. Yeah, Dew Color. This is from Amazon. I got these, and there's tons of palettes with different, each has a different color story. There are 9 color palettes, and here are the pretty colors. So I'm going to, in between doing each eye, I'm going to use the color switch to make sure the brush is clean. Put on the primer and the concealer on each on one eye, and then I'm going to use Rolling in the Dough to go over it. The primer on this eye and the concealer on the other eye. And it's kind of a little bit slick feeling. There's a little bit of slip to it. And it spreads very easy. There is the Milani primer. I want to allow it to set for 30 seconds, so it'll be set while I'm doing this. So here we have the Age Rewind. And this definitely doesn't have the same kind of slick feeling that the primer does. It doesn't blend out, you know, quite the same. It's a little bit of a thicker feeling. Okay, so here's what they look like on. Again, this is the Milani primer and this is the concealer. I am over 40, have dry skin, so just kind of keep that in mind. I do not have oily lids. I do kind of think it is just a tiny bit more crepey kind of on the concealer eye, like right here, but barely. So I'm gonna go in with this color right here in the center, and I'm gonna put that into my crease and above. And I'm using the Do You Care brush number 14. Goes on pretty good, smooths out, blends out, pretty good, no complaints there. What do we think? I think that it's the color is a little bit more pigmented, and it didn't blend and move around quite as much on the concealer side as it did the Milani side. I mean, they're pretty similar, but I feel like this is a little bit more pigmented, and yeah, this I was able to blend up a little bit more easier. Then I'm going to take, this is an e.l.f. eye defining brush, and go in with this dark blue color for the outer corner. Color, I really don't notice a big difference. They pretty much applied the same way. I don't even know if there's a pigmentation difference. Yeah, let me know what you think. Again, this one is the primer side, but I didn't notice a difference putting it on or really the color, so no difference on that one. Then I'm gonna take the Do You Care brush number 15, and I'm gonna go in with this color up here on the inner portion of my lid. And okay, so on this one, it's just such a slight smidge, but I kind of feel like the concealer side, this color was a little bit more pigmented, and now I feel like I have to go back to the primer side to kind of match it. I just feel like the silvery kind of shimmer, you got more of that. Again, this is the primer side, so I think I'm gonna build that up. The way that they applied and blended, I would say they are very, very similar. So I will finish my face and I'll check in. So I finished my makeup. Let's see how the eyeshadow is looking. Again, this side has the primer on it. At least in the time it took me to finish my makeup, that they're pretty similar. What do you think? Again, this is Milani. Okay, so this is about 3 hours that I've had my eyeshadow on. And again, this side, it was the primer. This side is the concealer. Don't mind the eyelash coming up there. But what do you think? Is there any difference? I think that the primer side, like this dark blue out here, I'm thinking is a little bit more pigmented still. Let me know what you think. My makeup has been on about 8 hours. So before I take it off, I wanted to do a check-in and see how our primer versus concealer is holding up. So about at the 6-hour mark, they were looking pretty similar. The concealer, I should have videoed it, but the concealer side was a little bit more vibrant, but they were very close. So let's see now over 8 hours. Don't mind the eyeliner. I was trying magnetic lashes and liner, which is a different video, but let's see here. So I feel like they are pretty similar. Let me know what you think. I think possibly on the Milani primer side right here, the dark blue is a little bit more vibrant, but overall, I think that they are pretty close. What do you think? So with my eyes closed, I don't see a huge difference. So my conclusion is that really it is a personal preference. Well, that's like with all makeup, but my conclusion is you don't necessarily need a eyeshadow primer if you want to just use concealer. The caveat that I'm going to say is if you do not have oily lids. I do not have oily lids, so I cannot speak on that. But if you just have normal to dry skin and lids, then yeah, I think that you really could use either option. Let me know down below what your preference is, what you wear, or what you think on either of these. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, I hope that you will hit that subscribe button and join me again. Bye.